Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us on a regular Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern live show where we talk about U.S. immigration live, taking your questions for educational purposes about U.S. immigration, our best to give a general understanding what the situation is, because as you know, U.S. immigration can be horribly confusing, and you ask 5 lawyers, you get 10 different answers. So we'll give the answer that I can give, which is probably going to be one of the best. But it's not direct individual legal guidance. We got to talk in private about that. I do want to apologize for not coming last week. Unfortunately, I got sick. I was under the weather. So my throat was so out that I couldn't even come and sit up in the chair to take your questions. But we're here today. A little bit of sore throat still. We'll see how far I can go. Hopefully, I won't be yelling at my computer and cause my throat to burn out too early, which reminds me to just talk slower and more calm so the throat could get through it. But thank you, everyone, for joining. Send us your questions on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok. We're still here. Thankfully, TikTok's still going on. Good service for the. We have a lot of our regulars coming in, a lot of new people coming in. Again, I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. If you're thinking about starting a marriage immigration case, a fiance visa case, the place to go to download our free guide, 50 plus pages of details. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Again, the website is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And then if you want to schedule a private consultation, go to our website, jqklaw.com/contact. Fill that out, a short questionnaire there, and we'll follow up with you. Our first question for Instagram Sunshine asks, if you had a prior history and expanded it, will Trump come after you? Criminal history. If you had prior criminal history and you expanded it, I'm not sure you mean explained it, will Trump come after you? What your status is, what the criminal history is. So there's a deep analysis to happen as to your criminal history record. We got to get all that stuff and study it. It all depends. It's not enough information for me to be able to answer that. For example, if you got a speeding ticket, well, no one's going to care. But if you got 15 speeding tickets, they might care because you're just being belligerent. And sometimes I've had people come with 50 speeding tickets to my office. So it really depends on what the individual situation is there. We got to get more data, see what's going on. I can't answer that question based on the limited information provided there. Jordan 835, what are regulars? Good to see you. It's been a while. Yep. If my visitor visa expires before I-485 is approved, do I have to leave the U.S.? No, you don't. Once you submit a form I-485 adjustment of status, as long as it's properly filed, there's no issues or errors or stuff like that. A properly filed one means you no longer need to retain your underlying status. So if you had a student visa, tourist visa, work visa, you don't have to continue those visa statuses. You'll be in what's called an authorized period of stay until a decision is made on the I-485. Now, not necessarily a tourist visa, but like another kind of visa status, you want to keep your underlying status if possible. For example, if you're a student visa holder going to school, it's better to keep it just in case. Worst case scenario, they deny your adjustment of status for a reason you have that to fall back on. But if it's a good case, it's not really a big worry that I have. Sunshine says green card holder will be heading against you. Well, it depends, Sunshine, what the criminal charges are. So we have to do a criminal immigration analysis to see if the conviction record or sometimes even the arrest record is something that's problematic that creates removability. So that's a whole analysis that has to happen based on the statute that you're arrested or convicted under. And so it's not something I can answer here. It's kind of like saying will I get cancer or something like that? Well, I got to check your blood type, or cancer is hard to say. That's not a good example, but I got to check your blood type, for example, if you have some other blood disease or something like that. So we got to get the actual data in to be able to answer that. I can't just say yes or no to that. Jazz News says, how long time period for F2B category? Well, if you go to the visa bulletin, that's a chart that updates us as to what the lines are. Right now, the visa bulletin for January, probably February's out too. Let me go check February. And if you want to check this stuff on your own, just type in visa bulletin on Google, and the first website that comes out is the State Department's usually. When you click on that, once the State Department site comes up after Google, click on the page that has the visa bulletin on it. And I can share my screen, it's too much work. And type in the most recent months. For example, F2B, to get the green card right now, is unless you're in Philippines, Mexico, there'll be different timelines. But for generally everyone else country, they're doing cases approved in May of 2016. Having said that, F2B being adult unmarried children of over 21 of green card holders, unmarried adult children of green card holders. However, I say, okay, May 2016, that's what, 9 years ago. This line doesn't move accordingly. So it might not move for a year at a time. So it might say 9 years apart, but it could be 12 years before the actual timeline comes. So it's unfortunately not a very smooth process. Big One says, I'm waiting for my N400 approval. Did the interview a month ago. How long can it take? There's no deadline. you want to kind of contact them, especially after 4 months have passed. But and you can sue them after that. But there's no like official thing I say. Wait, like you'll get a decision here or then. Now, a lot of people are watching on TikTok. I give priority to questions on YouTube and Instagram. So check us out on YouTube, JQK Law Firm, John Kasravi, Immigration Lawyer Talk. Because on TikTok, it's hard to keep track of questions because so many repeat questions come and stuff like that. But we'll get to you as well in a second. Prince Adoki says, "Hi, John. With a late registered birth certificate, what's the most important thing about IR2 visa at the consulate? You got to prove that the birth certificate is correct because it's late registered. I mean, usually USCIS will have the harshest way of looking at it. So if you pass USCIS muster, it'll probably be okay. But the embassies could get you too. So you got to have all the secondary documents to prove that the birth was correct and all that kind of stuff." Monter says, let me explain what the issue is. When someone's born, the U.S. government expects you to register and get a birth certificate within a few months of birth. If sometimes it takes people 2, 5, 10 years to get a birth certificate, the registration date of the birth certificate is going to be so far from the birth that the U.S. government is going to question it as to whether it's an authentic document or not, if it's like a fake birth certificate or not, or you change information on it. So that's something that you got to be very careful of. People are doing these cases on their own, don't notice that, and that becomes a major problem, especially if you're doing a case like that F2B category that we talked about a second ago, where people are waiting, 12 years to get their visa interview. All of a sudden at the embassy, they say, "Oh, we don't accept your birth certificate." They're like, "What in the world?" So you want to be really strong with the evidence and documentation you have on that. You don't want that to be an issue when the time comes. That could be a complete nightmare. Okay, let's see. Monter, one of our regulars. Good to see you. Judgment date is here. Humanity, has ended. Doomsday is here. As soon as people make their own way, Josh. No problem there. Salam, good to see you. Look sharp as always. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. I got my diversity visa issued from Montreal. No DS5535. Wonderful. And due to new 221G, landed LPR last year in Niagara and went back to Canada. Wonderful news. Just make sure you pay the green card fee at $235 as well. Problem is, I still have 2 or 3 years of university, and I want to get a reentry permit. I know I can be outside for the first 12 months, so I apply for reentry permit now. Yeah, just better to get the reentry permit. I mean, wait 6 months or something like that. The thing about a reentry permit is the reentry permit is intended to allow people to stay outside the United States for over 6 months if they've, as a green card holder, even though they're not supposed to be outside more than 6 months. But when you file it, you have to physically be in the United States. So when you mail out the form I-131, for reentry permit, you have to physically be in the U.S. when you file it, and you'll probably have a fingerprinting appointment afterwards. So just to prepare for that come and go. Now, how long it takes for that to be approved could be 3 months, could be 3 years. Like reentry permits are really backed up right now sometimes. And then you say, if I apply after 6 months and it takes 12 months issue, what do you do that you don't have the card? So historically, reentry permits are given like a month or two up filings was really fast. But in the last 5 years, especially after the pandemic, reentry permits are taking over a year to get. So there's no real official answer because what's happening in practice is not how things are designed to be. So in practice, I see CBP, if they see you have a receipt, they'll be flexible about it. They probably won't take away your green card. If they do, you argue in court and say, hey, I was telling you guys, it was not my fault the government's so backed up in issuing these. So I haven't seen it become an issue. Just file it, have the receipt, and CBP has been historically, from what I've seen, pretty cool with it. And you say, I have endorsed my visa, pay the green card fee. Good. I'll sign up for selective service as soon as required to. Yeah, it's 18 to 24. Do as soon as possible. 2024, 26. Everything is going great, but I'm worried about the long-term plan with the reentry permit. So you'll be okay. You come and go. I've seen people that go to school in Canada be okay, come and go. I mean, under the current administration, you can't say for sure, but inevitably, here across the border, just hop over back and forth and do it. All right, and one last question on YouTube. Shivan asks, I got my I-485 approved yesterday. Congratulations. I still do not have my card in my hands. We'll take some time. Can I start putting legal permanent resident in government forms? I haven't seen, I haven't seen your case. I can't tell you that. I would say wait till you get the green card in your hand before you say that. If you're my client stuff and I knew what was going on, I saw the receipt or something like that, or I was with you at the interview, I'll be more confident in saying that. But being that this is like a computer, video, I don't know who you are kind of thing, I can't tell you to do that. Wait for you to get the card in hand. All right, let's go to TikTok, say some questions. Ashila says, any updates on Afghan interior parole? Nope, I don't have any updates on that. Mario says, USCIS just set my case for adjustment of status. Will I be okay if ICE stop me? You don't get status because you filed the case. Most likely they won't bother you unless you have criminal history, because it's not worth their time to do so. But I can't guarantee it. If they want to be jerks about it, they can. Vic says, I have a question. If you have an old deportation order, I-618 pending, 20 years been here, can I deport me? Yeah, if you have a deportation order, they can deport you if they get you. Yeah. Tom says, what happens if travel with pending BIA appeal? What could be considered abandonment? You don't want to travel internationally. It's not a good idea to travel internationally when you have a green card spending. Jahan says, what's the timeline for CR1 to get interview date in Jamaica after your document shall be qualified? 6 to 12 months. I'm actually going to be in Jamaica. There's a conference coming up there. One of our good friends, Attorney Bennett, is going to be doing a lawyer conference. So I'm going to be going to Jamaica. Going to be excited about that. A lot of Jamaican clients, they're all here and not all there. I mean, some are pending. I'll go see them, but I get very excited about that. But the embassy's taking about 6 to 12 months. The problem I've seen is that the medical checkup there, just getting the documents. Okay, my throat's acting up again. I gotta talk slowly and get through it. Okay, Naomi says, could I fix my parents' papers if they came illegally more than 20 years ago? Probably not. Have lawful entry into the United States. They'll do something because they'll be subject to a ban if they leave, unless they have some sort of exception, like 245I, U visa. I don't know what it is, but something like that. I'm gonna make an order for some tea really quick. That'll come in the middle of the show because there's been 12 minutes in. The throat's having a hard time handling it. All right, I'll take some questions while my apps are loading. Let me see if someone can give me some tea. Tea, please. Okay, so let's go back to questions. Isam says, how about those people who is living with withholding of removal? There's no update on that being a problem. Probably withholding removal, nothing's going to happen, but we'll see. Sheila copy pasted her question about 1,000 times, and I had no idea. No updates. Him says, can ICE directly raid in gas station or stores without warrant? So I don't know the rules on that. It can't come to your house without a warrant, but public places maybe. But I'm not an expert on constitutional law when it comes to what they can and can't do on this stuff. It also says I have something on my record that I got before I got DACA. Should I be worried? I'm still on DACA. I don't know what something is on your record. You need to talk with a lawyer in private to analyze that. Hello, I've been approved for juvenile visa. My work permit is category C14. What does that mean? That's just the category that you have. I don't handle juvenile visas, but C14 is just work permits have different codes based on what you got on. C9 is, for example, is if you're getting a green card work permit based on having a green card pending. C7 is for, I think, asylum, refugee, or something like that. So C14 is the category that you have, but I don't handle those cases, so I'm not an expert. Ribbon says, can U.S. citizens get deported? I've seen that ICE being detained U.S. citizens. If they can't, U.S. citizens can't get deported. If you naturalize and there's fraud in your naturalization, maybe or something like that, but that's a long, drawn-out process, denaturalization. If there are people being detained by ICE, it's usually because there's some error or mistake on their part. Hamid says, why the green card takes a long time to receive? I came to the U.S. for 3 months to receive it. Yeah, the government's not reliable, unfortunately. Moses, can I travel on AP? You could try to travel. It's not up to me if they'll let you or not. Thomas Link says, can ICE come while case is denied by BIA case filed? Can case not refer to court? So on appeal. So you have to file a document that says a stay of something removal or something like that. It's not my area of expertise, but they can. But you have to file some sort of stay. I remember back when I did that kind of work, but I'm not expert on that. On people removal proceedings and stuff like that. Peter says, hi, the compulsion of COVID vaccine that's over now, does it apply to consular processing of beneficiaries whose married U.S. citizens? There's been no announcement for consular processing, unfortunately. Only USCIS has done it. I'm not sure why the Department of State's taking so long to state on their part. Hopefully it'll happen sooner. Maybe internally they just won't do it. But yeah, I feel yes, it sucks if you have to get it. Janet says, what happens if your spouse died during your adjustment? Just waiting for interview asking. So if it's like a marriage case and your spouse dies, the case turns into EB4 widower case. So it just changes from I-130 to a widower kind of case. Okay, unfortunately, I should have to mute you. Just asked the same question a gazillion times. It's just not proper. Mute account. Okay. Make it hard to figure out what's going on with all everyone else's questions when you do that. It made me catch up where I was. Okay, Talk says, in applying for a J1 waiver, a funding source memo is requested by the state. Do I need to seek legal advice to complete this document? Beforehand, but yeah, I mean, better have a lawyer, but find the funding source You probably have a J1 waiver based on receiving some sort of government funding. They probably want paperwork related to that. Peter says, okay, answer Peter. Let's go back to TikTok. Jahan Smith says, USCIS mixed my green card details with someone else. What should I do? I filed I-290 2 times, but no luck. Yeah, that's it. Trying to fix the errors is going to take forever. I mean, keep calling them, get congressional help or something like that. Try to push it. Peter says, also, when a travel ban is in a country, does it affect the spouses who marry U.S. citizens? Last time it did, but the travel bans are whatever the government wants to be, so they can make exceptions. So until a new travel ban happens and we don't read what the rules are, I can't say for sure what it's going to be. Oyeforo says, what is the I-130 time duration? There are different types of I-130, so it depends on what kind you're applying for. El Pump says, what about people who have a green card for 10 years? Is Trump, unless you get a criminal history, it shouldn't be a problem, or you lied to get your green card. Kind says, if someone came in visiting, getting married, yeah, you could potentially file for a green card, but you got to review your case. Can ICE just stop and ask me to ID myself? Not really, but they could ask, but it's up to you if you want to do it. User 22 says, my girlfriend is DACA and owns a house. Will she lose her house if deported? Property ownership is different from immigration law, so if she owns property, that's another thing. You're welcome, Peter. User 22 says, my girlfriend is DACA. We answer that. El Pomp, we answer your question. Flori says, do you know what vaccinations USCIS asked for a green card? There's a list of it. Thank you so much. On USCIS.gov, just type in USCIS vaccine requirement, and you can find that all online. Sagi says, what about people who have pending I-485? Can they be detained for how long? Yeah, they can be detained if there's a reason, and depends on what the reason is. If they have criminal history, they can be detained indefinitely. Kind says, I came here to the U.S. for visiting visa. Can I get married to my boyfriend? Probably. I need to talk to you in private. First of all, Kind, download my guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, to give you an understanding and schedule a private consultation. Because there's a lot of nuances. So you could get married, but there's nuances. Get your visa, where you're getting married, when you're getting married, the backgrounds. There's a lot of stuff I got to know before I can answer, like a safe answer for that. Raindrop says, is this still safe to do marriage-based cases now? Yeah, we do them every day. I have one right here. The person's name is going to be on it. Yeah, I file these every day. It's no problem. I mean, if you have a bad case, you have a bad case. If you have a good case, you have a good case. Mommy says, me and my husband have been married for 7 years. He had a work permit. Can they take him? I mean, maybe. I don't know anything about him to be able to add that. Add Raindrop Rose. Answer Hazel says, will my green card application be denied if I work on authorization? It depends on what the basis of your green card application is. Raindrops follows up. Is it safe to start your married green cards? Yeah, if you have a good case, it's safe, Raindrops. Sandy says, is it safe now to travel on AAP while I is pending on the primary applicant? It's the same answer I had before Trump, after Trump. It's up to you. It depends on your background, how much risk you want to take on. Usually it's okay, but I can't guarantee anything. So make sure it's worth the travel. Uslan, bro, you rock. Thank you so much. God bless you. Cynthia on YouTube. My husband has an I-130. He was approved from by USCIS. If he is pulled over, can ICE take him? Or can he let them know that he is in the process of fixing papers, has no criminal history? He can let them know. They can take him if they want, if he doesn't have any sort of status or has issues or criminal history. It's really up to their discretion. Leah says, my loved one's green card expires in July. What are the best steps to take? Well, they should renew their green card. So schedule a private consultation so we can talk that. jqqlaw.com/contact. jqqlaw.com/contact. Emra, good to see you. As someone who's working with John on my case, I love your work. Highly recommend. Thank you, Emra. We're going to be reaching out to you in a sec, actually. We got to prep some conversation. It's on my to-do list to email you. So we'll be getting a message, Emra, in a bit. Okay, Jayon Smith, we answer that. Raindrops, yes, there's nothing has changed with regard to marriage green card cases for filing. Prince says, can you still get a marriage green card with a felony? Probably depends on what the felony. Probably not, but we got to see what's going on. Is it still safe to apply for advanced parole? It's still safe to apply for it, but whether you want to use it or not depends. So DACA at risk with advanced parole. I mean, potentially if you have DACA and you get advanced parole, it could be a big saver for you. So you got to see what the reward risks are, what your backgrounds are, and what you're traveling for. So it's a case by case basis on what's analyzing risk and reward. Mickey Mouse says, my brother's a citizen. To him, applying for my green card, I have to go back to country. Is it true? Your brother applying for your green card is going to take over 15 years. If you've overstayed in the United States, it's going to create bans and big problems for you. So you need to schedule a consultation time to go over what the issues are there that's going to stop you from getting a green card or long bans. Juper says, my case in IJ jurisdiction, but judge not assigned yet. Been 6 months. What should I do? Yeah, it's immigration court for you. They're backed up. Chamush says, I have travel document biometric appointment. What happens if I miss my appointment? If you just miss it once, I'll usually reschedule it. During COVID, they got strict. They'll deny if you miss it once, but in practice, they usually reschedule it. But call them and tell them that you're going to miss it and reschedule. That's the safe thing to do, or go through your online account and let them know. Gilmar says, is it safe to enter an asylum case right now? I came with a tourist visa. If you have a good asylum case, you have a good asylum case. It's not safe or unsafe. You just have a good case, you have a good case. Horam, good to see you. What are the best sources to learn immigration law, both substantive and procedural law? You should join the American Immigration Law Association, AILA, A-I-L-A, and you should follow my training courses. Really, it's purchase my course. If you're Horam, if you're an attorney, purchase my course. Go to immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com or iltbox.com to learn more. It's only for lawyers, but that's the best place to do it. You're welcome, Hamush. Tafsir says, hey, USCIS took action on my case, and they're seeing that is a technical issue. USCIS online system is such a mess. I wouldn't really rely on it. Notification says I have a trial document about a medical appointment. What happens if I miss the appointment? Call them ahead of time, let them know, and they'll probably reschedule it. Josh says, my cousin just got a work authorization, so she had risk of deportation. I don't know anything about her to be able to say something like that. Camus says, good job, sir. What are the chances of visa approval for DNA test? I don't have chances. Either it's a good case or a bad case. I don't give chances. Hookah says, Hill HV applied asylum-based work permit this January. How long will it take? I don't know timelines. Star says, my spouse case was approved for expedited by NBC. Now the status shows in transit for 6 days. They'll probably send the case to the embassy, but they'll message you and let you know. How to get an advanced parole? You file form I-131. Leela says, my question, if I'm a asylum seeker and I leave U.S. before my case is closed, with my will, can I come back? Probably not. If you leave, you're abandoning your case, but maybe if you have some sort of permission, like advanced parole. Johnny says, what about for people when they have green card? What about for people when they have green card? What about them? McDonald says, if ICE knocks on my door with a warrant but looking for different people, will I open it? If they have a court ordered, like an actual court, or you have to open it up, that's that. JD says, what about DACA with no criminal history, married U.S. citizen, and process green card? What about them? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed since Trump's came for majority of the issues. Unless you're going to do asylum at the border or something like that, or you have criminal history, even then, nothing has changed, really. The Trump situation is just really shutting down the border for like mass migration that's happening there. But with regard to practical immigration stuff, nothing has changed. Ariana says, I'm a green card holder. I've been 5 months. I sent I-130, I-131 for U.S. We're still waiting. I'm a green card holder in 5 months. I sent out to not a green card holder if you have an I-130 pending. Do you mean I-130 for a spouse or something like that? Or it's not clear what's going on, Ariane. Alman says, what about F2A I-130 approval timelines? I don't have timelines. Ariane, Star, my spouse case was approved for expedited. Answer that question. Thor, you're welcome. BMZ says, is it still safe to apply for advanced parole? It's up to you how much risk you want to take on. Ariane Afghan, I have to mute your account. Fortunately, you can't just keep spamming the questions. If someone with withholding removal granted in risk if have current process DUI, it could be. I'm not an expert on withholding removal, so I don't really want to get into that stuff. How to apply asylum from Bulgaria? I don't do asylum either. Hello, sir. My I-485 approved since 3 months. Oh, my dependent is still pending. Any thoughts? Yeah, USCIS is inconsistent like that. That's about it. Salu says, can I seek asylum at a U.S. border with only my identity card for my country? Thanks. I don't specialize in asylum law, so I don't want to give advice on that. Am I allowed to travel in the United States while my adjustment status is pending? Yes. Juhemi says, is someone with withholding removal? I answer that. Sudha says, what about a citizen married with students? What about that? Alien says, I am traveling inside the U.S. while my adjustment is pending. I answer that question. Can green card holder travel internationally? Will need a passport or refugee travel document, but in visas potentially, but they could have. Goss says, if someone already has a green card through marriage, should they be worried? Not unless you have like mistakes or fraud or something like that involved in your case. Jupiter says, can I adjust with USCIS? DHS agreed joint motions. My case in IJ jurisdiction. CML USCIS can adjust as move order. So I would prefer that the case be terminated. I just filed one this morning, actually. Wait for the case to be terminated. Some people will file the case while the IJ is waiting for the case to be terminated, but I didn't want to risk that with Trump because they might just deny it or something like that. So if you got joint motion, hopefully the court will accept it and close the case. Then you file for adjustment. Better have an I-130 pending or some sort of petition pending at the same time, or approved is better. So that's Jupiter. That's like gets into complicated stuff. It's really better to have a private consultation. J. Charles says expedite request, chance to approve under Trump. Yeah, it doesn't matter Trump. The chances are low, whoever it is. Black Flower says, will his receipt from USCIS for pending I-130 petition help him stay in the States? No, it has nothing to do. That's not a, I mean, it could. I've seen it help if you have told me, but it's if they want to be nice or something like that. Geraldine says, I'm a permanent resident for 7 years. I'm trying to put my application for citizenship. Am I at risk? Schedule a private consultation. Let's see, Geraldine. Info, jqqlaw.com/contact. If you're scared or something, it might be something to be scared about, so let's talk about it. jqqlaw.com/contact. There are fees associated consultations, but email us to let you know. Damilar says, DOI or refusal to take a breath test affect immigration application. If you have criminal history, it could affect your adjustment of status. Not the NIW, but the adjustment of status. If you have some sort of hardcore criminal stuff, we got to see what the situation is. Lily asks, hi, John. How much does someone make to sponsor an affidavit of support on a marriage-based green card? And is this effective to pay child support? Yeah. So first of all, we need to know your household size. So if you're married to somebody, and if you have one child, or you're paying child support, this they're under 21, they're included part of your family. That's a family size of 3. Check out Form I-864P to know the exact number. I'm guessing it's going to be around $35,000 a year. But Form I-864P online has a chart that says how much money you have to make depending on your household size. Alien says, I'll answer your question. You're welcome, Sudha. Juhemi says, we answered that. Tuan says, my friend came with an F1 student visa recently. So is it a good time for him to change status like asylum? It's not a good or bad time. If he has a good case, then he should look into it. Khan says, hello, sir. Answer that question. Alien said, a lot of repeat questions popping up. Let's see, let's find a new one. Dab asked a question about deportation. We don't handle cases of deportation history, so you can answer that. Can I travel internationally with a conditional green card? Yeah, I mean, it's just like a green card. Jada says, if we have DACA, are we safe from deportation? Yes, unless you have, I mean, it's discretionary. If you have criminal history, no, but generally you have procedural discretion. For the most part, they won't come after you unless there's usually a reason to. Thunder says, my asylum was granted 6 months ago. Can I still apply for a green card? Probably, if you have a good case, yeah. Oh, it's hot. How much follows up? I applied for a travel document. USCIS gave me a biometric appointment, but I don't want to do it. I mean, I don't need travel document now. What happened? I missed the appointment. I mean, why did you apply for it if you don't want it? That doesn't make sense. But if you don't do your biometrics, they'll deny it. Salus, are U.S. farmers inviting workers from outside the U.S.? I don't keep track of what farmers are doing. Maybe they probably are, but I don't handle those cases. I can't really talk about that. Mom says, for immigrant visa interview, does it have a timeline for Pakistan? Pakistan's taking forever. That's pretty much the timeline that works. That makes sense. Forever. Jamie says, I-130 got approved. I-45 is pending with biometric appointment. I'm at risk of deportation. If you don't have status, you're at risk of deportation. How much is the risk? This much risk or that much risk? It doesn't matter. So let's say, you beat up your spouse, and yeah, you're a big risk. But if you just normal, you're just here on a student visa or tourist visa overstay, probably not. But I know people are freaking out about the Trump stuff, but so far nothing has really changed for anyone who's asking questions here. It's really the same stuff. Just the media wasn't talking about removal, deportation, ICE raids before. So it sounds like worse than it is, but it's just because actually the media is reporting on it. Whereas this is the same stuff that's always been happening. I mean, it could change tomorrow, but as of now, in the last 2 weeks that Trump's been here, for almost all the people asking questions here, there's no difference, and it's a lot of his hype. But I'm sure things will go bad pretty soon. No Sugarcoat says, if a middle name is missing from my green card, will that be a big issue? Probably not. Adnan says, I canceled my interview due to personal reasons. Okay. King Ezra says, can I answer that question? A lot of repeats. If you're repeating your question, email us and schedule a private consultation, because I answer every question here. So if you missed it, we got to keep going with more questions. Just schedule a private consultation. Koga says, I'm in the U.S. now legal. If I win a green card to stay or live and start the process, I'm in the U.S. legal. If I win the green card to stay or to live and start the process, you got to rephrase your question. I know it says I canceled my F4G interview due to personal reasons because it's been over 6 months, no interview date. Yeah, there's going to be delays in rescheduling. If your asylum is granted, are you at risk? Probably not. If you have asylum, they're probably not going to do anything unless they find fraud in your asylum application or you lied or something. Sweetfire says, hi, John. I mailed my removal of condition green card application, still waiting on notification. It might take a couple weeks. See if they cash a check or charge your card. Elias, can I petition? Oh, it's 31 minutes. Okay, we've done the show. Let me ask a couple quick questions to get it done. Elias says, can I petition for my fiance was brought and entered illegally in 9 as a kid we get married. Well, there's the issue there that they don't have lawful entry. So probably have to do a 601A waiver. It's long drawn out. You can petition for them. You have to get married. It won't be a fiance case. But there's a lot that goes under, Ellie. Download our guide first, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Learn about the process and then schedule a private consultation. Discuss your case. MZ Poor said, do you think marriage-based green card interview process will back? I think it will be backed up. Probably, because they can probably do interviews, but nothing's changed right now. And let me try to get one or two more good questions that I can answer. Can I change from J1 to F1 while I'm pending asylum if you had maintained the existing status? Yes. Let's go find some good questions. Okay. Do minors, stepchildren, can be scheduled for AOS interview? If yes, a parent would be present. Yes, you can, and yes, we better bring a parent. Anna says, what if you're in the process of asylum? What should you carry on when you go to court, when you go out? Have photos of your asylum related pages, your alien number, that kind of stuff. And then Hamush says, is there any risk for immigrant documents if I miss child document appointments? Probably not, but I can't really tell you without reviewing your whole case. It's not something I could say yes or no on a form like this. Marion says, asylum pending case considered legal if B1, B2 overstays. Say illegal, but you're out of status. You're an authorized period to stay, but you're out of status. And Bob says, hello, can someone get married after 6 days in the United States? Can someone get married the next day coming to the United States? It's better to wait, I guess, but yeah. MZ Poor, immigration psych says, what do you recommend schools do if ICE shows up? I don't make recommendations. They got to do what they got to do. And then last question, Allison, you make it. Good to see Allison. Good to see you. Fellow immigration lawyer is really good. Allison, you. Good to see you. Francis says, should I-20 be enough to ask agent ICE documents? Probably. I mean, I don't know what they want. They could be jerks and just want to, they get citizens sometimes. But I-20, you go into school, you have transcripts, you have ask you questions about your classes, you have answers, they're probably going to let you go. I mean, you got to think about it like this. As scary as ICE is, and sometimes do horribly evil stuff too. At the end of the day, they're just trying to looking for a certain type of person. If you're a student or if you're a U.S. citizen, they're probably not come after you. When police shootings happen, police are not shooting, killing everyone in America. That's how the news makes it sound. It's still statistically a minuscule amount of people are getting shot by police. Every time it does happen, it's horrible, and they should put that person lifetime in jail, that officer, when they shoot someone for racist reasons and all that stuff. But it's still really, really minor amount of people that are negatively affected. Okay. Having said that, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back in next Tuesday. If you want to schedule a private consultation, email, go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact. Again, it's jqqlaw.com/contact. Balba follows up. How long can someone wait in the U.S. before getting married for marriage not considered as fraud? Waiting between the marriage is not considered fraud, but the timeline of how soon you got married, not your fraud. The fraud comes in is if they accuse you of immigrant intent. Based on the type of visa that you enter with. So if you enter on an H-1B visa, it doesn't matter. But if you enter on a tourist visa and you marry a U.S. citizen, I've never seen it be a problem, but a lot of lawyers will scare you online and wait 90 days. Yeah, it's better to do that. Why not? But practically speaking, I've never seen that happen. But who knows? Trump might get strict about it. All right. Thank you, Fina5222. I appreciate it. Everyone be safe, and I'll see you all next week. See you. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us again. Bye, everybody. Let's see how to stop this. And